not just engineers and management graduates, but millions other. How do you think our economy will be able to absorb this unutilized capacity?
Well, I mean, I think there are multiple ways. One of the key things is that you would have seen this whole context of Skill India, which is very important. If you look at the percentage of Indians who are skilled compared to some of the developing world that you will see, we are skilled at less than 2 to 3%. So while we have what is called a demographic dividend, okay, whether it is this demographic advantage, is it a demographic dividend or is it a demographic disaster? Is a function of how easily we are able to skill them. And that is where I was very excited with Shah's product, which essentially is talking about taking remote learning and remote education and so on. I'm sure it applies to remote skilling in a very big way. There is a distinct need to skill. So skilling is the first part of it. I think conceptually, at least, the government has addressed it. And in fact, we in the group have a very large skilling company called Talent Care, which I mentor. Fundamentally is one of the ways, but that is not enough. I think there is a red signal that you will see, because if we are saying that there is going to be growth and new business and new value creation without jobs, if you look at what happened between 2009 to now, it has been a jobless growth to a large extent in many countries. That has to change, which means we have to look at newer and newer types of businesses. And again, there is so much of unutilized capacity in many areas. It is our objective would be to try and see how we are able to leverage them, skilling them, making sure that we are able to create new kinds of jobs. I think the ability to create new jobs and obviously leverage the fact that has to be many of them would have to become entrepreneurs in their relevant sphere, maybe in a small way. All of this is essentially going to bring this whole capability. Plus, I mean, I think the most important is something that we are committed to as an organization is how do you look at gender diversity? How do you bring more women into the workforce? Because that is a capacity of already skilled in some levels, which is essentially a resource which is untapped, or at least inadequately tapped. It's a combination of these. There is no one answer that I can give you, but I think amongst these three, you have to get. I think a form of government is just one of the multiple variables that we need to be focused on. I think we have had either of these forms of government being looking at growth, looking at job creation, and looking at GDP support. All of this in both forms of government have done. So whether we are a manufacturing economy or a knowledge economy, either way, the context that we have to be very clear is that, I mean, I don't think there is one which supersedes everything else and saying, let's be only doing this job. You can have some parts of the organization, some parts of the country be very focused, but you can't really have a situation where we'll say this one is applicable right across the country. So I don't think the issue is not about a choice of form of government.
Yes. Sir, we have become an IT power in the world. We have exports over $100 billion. But we don't still have a Google. We don't have an Indian Microsoft. We don't have an Indian Dropbox. We have people like Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. But why don't we have such companies in India? Why don't we have an Indian brand in IT?
Well, that has been one of the, I would say, very key critics point that has been thrown at the Indian industry. We must appreciate and understand there was an opportunity to be where we were. I think the country took it with both hands and went behind it. Today, not just the key leaders in this business, but quite a few others believe that there is another opportunity which is coming in now. I'm sure this question is going to be better answered over the next 10 years, where you will see the question that really you must appreciate is that there was an opportunity for IT outsourcing. Everybody went behind it, got it. We became the best in what we were doing. There was also an opportunity at the same time to create products, create IP, create new business models, and so on. We missed the bus because we were focusing on this space. This was low-lying fruit, obviously easy to do. We have built up capability to do it. I'm sure in the next 10 years you will see this part changing because the Indian IT outsourcing companies are distinctly under threat. As I say, they have to disrupt. And one of the disruptions that they have to very clearly say is how many of them are going to be very big in intellectual property. Thank you.